Hello and welcome to the lecture on communication and collaboration with suppliers. This particular lecture is going to open up our minds on the need for us to be able to communicate with suppliers and the benefits that either parties is going to be able to derive from this communication. So we are simply saying it is the exchange of information between two parties. And when we are referring to two parties here in the context of this particular module, we are referring to the organization and the suppliers. And we are saying collaboration is a process in which two parties are going to be working together to achieve a common goal. So on the organization perspective, communication is key and collaboration is key between the organization and suppliers to ensure that goods will always be available. On the side of the organization, we need to ensure that they are meeting suppliers' end of the bargain and be able to understand the requirements and meet the contractual obligations. And this one is important for either party. And we are also saying that it is very, very essential in building supplier relationships. And it is going to clearly and concisely help either party to communicate their needs and expectations. The organization will communicate their needs and expectations to the suppliers. And collaboration also is going to allow the two parties to be able to work together to resolve problems and also improve other issues that might arise. Now, what are the benefits of communication and collaboration with suppliers? Number one, we have improved supplier performance, and this comes in handy because expectations are clearly communicated. We have timely information being disseminated, and also we have the aspect of feedback and improvement also being key as we are doing communication. And then we also have reduced costs. This is where we negotiate better prices through communication. We could also have flexible ordering and delivering schedules, and these ones are going to be assisting us, both parties, to know when to do the orders, and the suppliers also to be able to have time when they can be able to give back the orders or deliver the orders. And through communication and collaboration with suppliers, we could also have what we call increased innovation. And innovation will come about because both parties are going to be sharing ideas. We could have products in which we are collaborating to bring forth. We could also have customization and personalization taking place, where we suppliers could tailor make a certain product based on the customer's needs. Now, when we are communicating with suppliers, we are going to be using a number of methods. For example, emails. E is for electronic. This is a common form of communication. We could also use the phones. We could also use video conferencing. Part of video conferencing is what we currently are doing in terms of Zoom meetings, Google Meet meetings, Teams meetings. All those are platforms that would help us or help organizations to be able to communicate and reach the suppliers. And then we could also hold in-person meetings. We could also do web portals. These are just websites that suppliers would have access. They could be able to follow up on the items that have depleted or the items that require replacement in terms of stock, in terms of goods on an organization. And finally, we could also use what we call supplier collaboration softwares. And these softwares are quite a number. It depends on the preference of the organization. Like we have a software we call SAP Ariba. This kind of software is just a cloud-based procurement and supply chain management solution that organizations are using currently to be able to communicate with suppliers and that makes it very, very essential for all organizations. And of course, we have so many others that you may be able to research and find out about these collaboration softwares, get to understand how they are going to be benefiting the organization. Now, we have some tips here that are going to assist us in terms of effective collaboration. Number one, we need to be clear and concise in your communication. So for effective communication with suppliers, we need clarity. Clarity in terms of the information that we are passing out. And then each party, of course, should be able to state their needs and expectations clearly. So everybody has an expectations that they want to meet. On the organization perspective, they want timely delivery of goods. On the supplier perspective, they would like to have maybe timely payment. And thus, it is something that we may not afford to ignore in terms of expectations. They need to be clarified. And part of making them very clear is putting them into contracts that all the parties can be able to sign. The other one is be responsive to supplier inquiries. So suppliers will always calling to find out on when they could deliver the next stock of goods. So you need to be available to give this feedback. The other one is be open and honest with your suppliers. So honesty is key. If you are unable to pay them at a particular agreed date, you need to, part of communication is informing them, but that it may not be possible because of this and this reason. The other one is we need to provide feedback to suppliers on their performance. That's very important. So it is important. Part of feedback will come from us doing what we call supplier audits and evaluation. Then from that, we can be able to ascertain whether the suppliers that we have continue to remain loyal and they are able to meet their end of the bargain in terms of reaching their contractual agreements. Now, when we want to collaborate with suppliers, we also have a few number of tips that are going to assist us. Number one, we need to set very clear goals and expectations. So let the suppliers know what to expect of them. And you should also inform them about these goals and expectations. And then we can also establish a communication plan. We could share information and resources where possible. We could also work together to resolve problems. We could have, for example, problems of defective goods. We could work together to be able to resolve that. And also we need to be open to any feedback from either side in terms of the level of satisfaction of the goods that have been delivered. Now, we need to also be able to adopt what we call effective communication strategies. And we are saying it is the ability to convey your message clearly and concisely. And this message also, it is keen to note that it should be a message that is understood by everyone. And it's a very, very important skill for the success of any business in all areas. So this is going to include personal relationships, work, school. In all areas, we need to adopt effective communication strategies. Now, when we communicate effectively, what are the benefits that we are going to gain from that form of communication? Number one is improved relationships. So we are able to build better organizational supplier relationships with our suppliers, and we are able now, these relationships will also help us to build the element of trust and to believe that the relationship and working together will now last for long and will be continuous. And also we need to have an increased understanding because of effective communication. So each parties are able to better understand each other, which is very, very important. And also we have increased productivity. So better performances on the supplier perspective because they know it is not all about supplying and going. A relationship has been created. And also we reduce the aspects of conflict. We could be having troubles because of conflicts that have arose. So because of effective communication, like we have said, on different forms that we could use to communicate, we could sit down even through in-person meetings, virtual meetings, to be able to communicate and find out whether we can be able to resolve a particular problem. It could be a problem of defectiveness of goods, so we could be able to see what we can be able to do in order to ensure that is observed. And the other one is improved problem solving. The other one is enhanced creativity. So suppliers and organization are able to become more creative. They could look for areas of collaboration. How can we improve on the goods that we are supplying? And that will, of course, trickle down to benefiting the customer or the client. Now, for effective communication to be able to work, then we have key elements that we need to bring on board or we need to consider. Number one is clarity. Uh, so this we emphasize on the need to use very simple language that either parties would be able to understand. Completeness is about providing all the necessary information possible. The other one is conciseness, where we need to get to the point, avoid giving unnecessary points, and that is on both ends of the parties involved. And also we need to emphasize on the element of accuracy. Information must be accurate, it must be up to date. That will reduce a lot of troubles that are caused by challenges provided by inaccuracy of information. And also, finally, another key element of communication is to be relevant, where you tailor make your message to your audience and to your needs. Now, we have what we call tips for effective communication. So, number one, you need to be a very good listener. So, paying attention is key. And also be mindful of your body language. When we talk about body language, then we refer to concepts of eye contact. When you nod your head to signify yes or no, when you smile to the supplier, or when you smile at each other, that is key in ensuring effective communication. And also be aware of your tone and voice. Do not shout to your suppliers. Avoid being sarcastic and also having a judgmental voice or tone when you are communicating with your suppliers. Now, also, as a continuation of the tips for effective communication, you also need to be very respectful of other person's opinions. Even in situations where you disagree, you can still give your point of view in a respectful manner. We could also have you being open to various feedbacks. Ask for feedback from your customers, from your suppliers. Suppliers could also ask feedback from the organization to be able to understand and seek clarification on areas that they feel that information was insufficient. And for us, of course, for this collaboration and relationship to continue, we have the element of building trust and transparency. And we are saying in every successful relationship, the element of trust cannot be ignored. So once people are able to trust each other, what happens is that they are more likely to be open, honest with each other, and that will enhance communication and collaboration. Now, when we build trust and transparency, what are some of the benefits that we are going to get from that? Number one is improved relationships. So people are able to better relate because of each party observing trust and transparency. So relationships improve within the organization versus suppliers and across board in any other forms of communication or partnerships. And then we would have also better communication and collaboration among the parties concerned. We will also be able to make decisions in a better way because we have over and over built the element of trust and transparency. And then improved productivity. Either side will be striving to meet their end of the bargain because it is going to be very, very important so that we can be able to move the relationship forward. And then we will also have reduced conflict. So conflict is going to reduce and people will be able to solve or resolve whatever issues arise in a very simple manner. And also finally, we will have enhanced creativity because of trust and transparency. Parties concerned will not fear to give ideas that are going to enable the suppliers to be able to move forward and succeed, and also on the organization perspective. Now, for us to be able to build trust, number one, we need to be honest and transparent in terms of number one, disclosure of all material facts or disclosure of all the information, especially on the side of suppliers and the goods that they intend to deliver to the organization, either raw materials or finished goods. We need the disclosure of all the information. And then also we need to be reliable and consistent, be open to feedback where possible, be accountable to your own actions where possible, and also be respectful of others. Respect people, and that will build the levels of trust among the suppliers and the organization at large. Accountability is the aspect of acknowledging that you did a mistake. Maybe you did not deliver the right goods in terms of quantity, in terms of quality. You did not keep time. You extended the lead time. All those are issues that require you to be accountable. So when you have built trust, then it is easier for you to acknowledge, yes, I have done a mistake as a supplier, and I request for your apology, that this particular relationship can be able to continue. Now, for us to be able to promote transparency, we have a number of things that we need to do. Number one, we need to share information openly and honestly. That's very, very important. So either side, remember, information will be two-way. It could be from the organization perspective, it could be from the supplier perspective. We could share this information. Number two, we need clarity in terms of expectations and goals. So when you sit for in-person meetings, maybe at the start of the collaborative activities or relationship, then either party should be free, because there is the element of trust that is continually being built, to tell the team about their expectations and what they need to do. And also we need to encourage open communication and feedback. That's very, very important. We also need to be willing to admit your mistakes. So if you make any mistake, you need to admit. And also you need also to create a culture of openness and trust. And all these are going to contribute to promoting transparency. Now, collaborative tools and technologies for supplier relationships. So these are tools that are going to help us improve supplier relationships. Number one, we need to ensure we are streamlining communication and collaboration. Streamlining means we need to check along our communication lines and ensure that there is nothing that is deterring or barring our communication from being successful. And also facilitating information sharing. We can share information over and over or when needed. We can provide supporting joint problem solving and innovation. So anytime we have issues that require all of us to come together, then we can be able to bring them on board and see whether we can resolve them. The other one is improving visibility and transparency. That one is also very, very important. And finally, we could be able to reduce costs and risks through collaborative tools. Examples of collaborative tools and technologies, we could have supplier collaboration softwares. I did give an example. We could have project management tools. We could have tools that are going to assist us to execute a particular project with ease. We have softwares that are able to guide us into doing that. And also we need to have communication and collaboration tools. We had mentioned about them. We can have emails, videos, conferencing, chats where possible, and so on and so forth. And also we could have cloud-based file sharing and collaboration platforms. I've just given an example of SAP Ariba, is a cloud-based procurement software. And also we could have supply chain management softwares. So I invite you to look for examples of these softwares, and where possible understand also how they work and how they can assist in terms of tools of collaboration and part of the technology that we are going to adopt. And we could also use data analytics tools. So these tools are going to give us information in terms of how the suppliers are delivering goods. We could have softwares that are able to show us the goods that have been received, how goods are moving out from an organization perspective. We could also have systems that will analyze suppliers' performance, and so on and so forth. And the end goal, of course, is to ensure that this relationship between organization and suppliers continues to be the best that we could. Remember, we are building an element of trust among the suppliers. Now, what are some of the benefits of using collaborative tools and technologies? Number one, we could experience improved supplier performance. That's very, very important. So suppliers are better able to work in a more efficient manner. Then we also have reduced costs. We could have issues that would lead to wastages of time, issues that we could have technology that can detect the quality and of items. So because when we have poor quality items, it could contribute to losses. So because of this technology, we are able to adopt it, and therefore cost maybe, for example, because of wastages is reduced. And then also we have increased innovation. We also have reduced risks. When we adopt collaborative tools, it is easier for us to even identify the risks that are posed. For example, the loss of items along the way, or when goods are in transit, and so on and so forth. And then also because of collaborative tools, we have a shorter lead time. When you talk about lead time, it's all about the period between when an organization orders the goods and when they receive the goods. So because we have collaborative tools, for example, that are able to monitor where the goods are and how long they are going to arrive to the organization, and also we are able, those technologies could also be able to help the supplier's perspective or the supplier side to know when goods are depleting on the organization side, and they could be able to plan for more delivery of of goods. So lead time, we are able to reduce the days, the waiting days from when we have ordered to when we receive the goods. And finally, we have improved customer satisfaction. That is a major one. Every customer wants satisfaction for every good. If possible, we could reduce the problems associated with customer complaints. Where possible, we can look at avenues of how we can be able to solve that particular issue. And finally, we are going to be looking at tips for using collaborative tools and technology effectively. So the first one is we need to choose the right tools and technologies for your needs. So you begin by identifying your needs as an organization and see whether through these ones, through the needs that you have, you look for the best tool to help you solve that particular need. And also, we need to make sure that all stakeholders are trained on how to use the tools and technologies. It is one thing to have the technology, and it is another thing to have the technology working properly. So the aspect of training cannot be ignored for people to understand how the technology works. Even in a supermarket setup, you have seen the barcode readers and the computers and the systems that the cashiers are using. That particular system could also be used to track inventory, and therefore it is important to have people understanding how the system works. Also, we need to establish very clear communication guidelines. People within an organization needs to know who is supposed to communicate and what. If there are any complaints, how do we go about it? The other one is the use of tools and technologies to share information, collaborate on projects, and solve problems together. And that's very important. And also the need to be able to monitor the use of tools, technologies, and ensure that they are being used effectively. So the aspect of monitoring is key. If the technologies are defective, it is easier for us to be able to know because we are doing monitoring and evaluation of how the items are working. So I invite you to do more research around communication and collaboration with suppliers. Get to know the challenges that would arise because of failure to communicate. So the levels of trust are going to reduce. We could have suppliers becoming reluctant, so levels of production are going to reduce, and so on and so forth.